So we have a trade that is going viral. The Anaheim Ducks would acquire Cutter Gauthier from the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for Jamie Drysdale in a 2025 second-round pick. So the Flyers make out in this trade. They get themselves an NHL defenseman and a second-round pick. But Cutter was a guy they drafted 5th overall and thought highly of. He's played for Boston College the last 2 seasons. His freshman year, in 32 games played, he had 16 goals, 21 assists for 37 points. And this year, 17 games played, 13 goals, 10 assists for 23 points. He's having a pretty good season. In the WJC tournament, in 7 games played, he had 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points. He's a player that could develop into something special. But things, they would get interesting. Frank Zaravelli reported, sources say Cutter informed the Flyers organization that he did not want to play in Philadelphia. He would then go on to add the Flyers engaged upwards to 18 to 20 teams that Cutter would sign with over the last few weeks. General Manager Danny Briere and President Keith Jones both traveled to Sweden to see Cutter at World Juniors and tried to attempt to get everything back on the rails before pulling the trigger today. This is just a very weird scenario overall. Now, it works out for the Ducks. They get some more offensive talent. They have some good defensemen in the pipeline already, so giving up Drysdale for a young, promising forward isn't bad if they can sign him. But until that trade happened, it seemed like the relationship was completely fine. I mean, Cutter himself spoke positively about an experience he had with John Tortorella.
The first story I have of him was this past summer at development camp. Everyone's just walking right by him. He's talking to a couple other staff members or whatever it may be. I moved the staff member guy out of the way and I was like, hey, Cutter Gauthier, it's really nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to playing for you soon. He's like, fuck yeah. I love that shit. It's great to meet you too. And I was sitting there like,
you're like, whoa.
It's nice to meet you too.
Your face breaking your hand.
I'm glad you're that pumped to meet me. Like,
just big energy right out the gate, and you're like, all right, Torts, fucking A.
All right, sweet, let's do it. Let's go.
And then, well, because he didn't want to go play for the Flyers, John Tortorella said this after the 4-1 loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I believe you've met Cutter Gauthier before. Were you surprised that he...
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall, you know? And I'm not too interested in talking about him. I'd rather talk about Jamie.
It takes a lot of balls to tell an NHL team you're not going to play for him when you have not played a single minute at the NHL level. Again, promising prospect, could develop into something really special. Yeah, that's something different. We have seen it before. It's not unprecedented. But generally, when you're taken so high in the draft, you usually sign with that team and try to figure things out. There's nothing really concrete out there yet why he didn't want to sign with the Philadelphia Flyers. Was it the organization? Was the general manager? Was the president? Was it the head coach and John Tortorella? We don't know. And to be fair to the Flyers, this year they're doing pretty well. Tortorella has these boys playing hard and have an opportunity to go to the playoffs this year, and considering how bad last year was, that's pretty damn impressive. Torts can be a hard coach to play for, but I think he brings the best out of you if you have the right personality. All in all, I'm assuming the Anaheim Ducks will be able to sign him relatively quickly. He'll finish out his year in Boston College. They're one of the best teams in Hockey East. He did really well in World Juniors. The guy's got a promising future. The Flyers get themselves a good defenseman in Drysdale and another future asset with a second-round pick. But again, this is a very weird situation, and Philadelphia fans are a passionate bunch. If I'm Cutter, I'm looking both ways of the street. If I'm in Philadelphia, if I'm playing a game, listen, they have beaten up Santa Claus. They have beaten up charity workers. When they're pissed and they're angry, there's no other fan base like Philadelphia that can just go straight toxic on you. I mean, really, if they're throwing batteries at Santa Claus, nobody's safe. But I'd like to know your thoughts down below in the comments section. What did you think of this trade, and why do you think he wanted out of Philadelphia? I'm Paul from the Locker Room. I'll see you in the next one.